ChatGPT has changed the game when it comes to generating images, but most people are not using it to its fullest potential. Now you can replace a design team worth tens of thousands of dollars a month with ChatGPT if you know how to use it right. Not to mention, you can now avoid additional software subscriptions, all those $20 a month subscriptions as well. That's why in this video, I'm gonna share with you how to craft prompts in the ChatGPT 4.0 image model that gets you the kind of images that you want, examples of different image use cases, and one of the fastest ways of generating multiple variations of an image, which you cannot do inside of ChatGPT itself, that will make your workflows so much faster. If you're new here, my name is Rick Mulready, and for the past 11 and a half years, I've run a multi-seven-figure online business, helping other online business owners grow and scale their business. Today, I run a community called the AI Playbook, where I help online businesses leverage AI so that you can streamline your business and increase profitability in the process. I'll link to the community in the description below. Now, for tip number one, when it comes to reliably generating the kind of images that you want in ChatGPT, not surprisingly, it comes down to clear, specific instructions in your prompt. And I like to include 8 different elements whenever I'm prompting ChatGPT to create an image. Now, actually, I shouldn't say that. I don't always include 8 elements, but if I know that I want to get very specific, consistent results, I will include these elements. So the first element is going to be your subject. What do you want the image to be of? So describe the main subject super clearly. What kind of appearance? Are they wearing clothes if it's a person? What's the pose, the expression? Is it a castle? Is it an F1 race car? Whatever it might be, this is going to be the subject of your image. The next thing being the composition. This is where you want to specify like a camera angle, framing, arrangement of the elements, that sort of thing. The next one's the style. Do you want the image to be any specific kind of style, like realistic, cartoons, cyberpunk, etc.? Then if you want lighting to be included, specific kind of lighting to be included in the image, this is where you want to include that, like soft morning light or sunset or something like that. The color. This is where if you have brand colors, so if you have like hex codes of your brand colors, you're going to want to make sure that you include those hex colors in your prompt. The next thing is the mood. Do you want it to be like emotional or energetic, mysterious? That sort of thing. The 7th element is going to be any kind of details that you want included in the images. This is where you want to highlight unique features or elements that you want to include or to avoid, which I'll tell you more about that in just a second. So like props, accessories, a coffee cup, something like that, facial marks, whatever. And then the final thing, super important, you want to give it the context. So describe the setting, describe the time period. Are you creating a YouTube video thumbnail? Describe the context of why you want the image created. Now, within the structure of these 8 elements, like I just mentioned, a good practice is to use negative prompting. So for example, don't include or no, use the word no. So if you're drawing a picnic scene, for example, you can put in like no people, no birds, no blanket, or whatever it might be. So be really, really clear on what it is that you want in the image as well as what you don't want in the image. And here's where it gets really interesting. Once you understand this framework, you can totally systematize your entire visual brand because you just keep including these elements within all the prompts where you want to create images, and then you just start saving these prompts. Even better, and I talked about it in a recent video here on the channel, a pro tip would be to use ChatGPT's extended memory to your advantage. So for example, you could say, you could give ChatGPT your hex codes for your brand colors, and you could tell ChatGPT to remember your hex codes as your brand colors. So the next time you want to create an image, you could say, using my brand colors. That's all you'd have to do. You don't have to retype in the hex codes. Or if you have a hero image that you like to include in your brand elements, for example, or creating images, you could tell ChatGPT to remember that as your hero image, and then you can just reference that whenever you want to create a new image. All right, the next thing I want to show you, now that we have our prompting techniques for creating consistently reliable images with ChatGPT, let's create a brand board, because a brand board can drive the future look and feel of all your brand images. So this is the prompt that I like to use, and it simply includes each of the 8 elements that we just talked about. So again, it's got your subject, composition, style, etc., and the input variables for each one of these sections of your prompt. Okay, so now let's actually create a brand board from that prompt, and I'm gonna put the variables from my own brand as input variables into that prompt, which is this prompt right here. I'm gonna click on go, and we'll see what comes up. All right, and here's the finished brand board that it just created for me based on the prompt I just gave it. It's actually pretty good. I mean, it's got the colors, the fonts, examples of images that we could use. I could totally download this, and I could then go and upload this into Canva, for example, and use this as a brand kit in Canva if I wanted to. Or better yet, I could actually ask ChatGPT to save this brand board in its memory for me so that I can just reference it whenever I want to be creating images. I could just say, based on my brand board, do this, and it'll remember it. Tip number 3, this is what I like to call image to prompt reverse engineering. So this is where you upload an image and then you ask ChatGPT to describe the prompt that could recreate that image. This is great for when, you know, you're on the internet and you come across images that you love the aesthetic, you love the look of the image, and you want to be able to recreate that type of aesthetic or look in your own images. Use this tip right here. So I'm going to paste in an image here. It's just a screenshot of an image that I found on Instagram. It's actually an Instagram ad. And by the way, if you run ads at all, this is a great way. If you consistently see the same ad over and over and over, chances are that ad is doing well and the person or company is continuing to run that ad because it's doing well. Well, you can learn a lot from that. Take a screenshot of the image itself, stick it in the ChatGPT here, and you can simply say something like, describe the prompt that could recreate this image. And with that simple of a request, describe the prompt that could recreate this image. I could be a little bit more specific there, but I wanted to see what it would do here. I have this detailed prompt that describes that image, so I can use this prompt to recreate that image. Let's actually use the prompt and see what it does. All right, and here's the image that it just recreated using the prompt that we asked ChatGPT for to describe that original image. Here's the one that it just created. Here is the original. I mean, pretty darn close, right? Makes me really hungry right now. So this is a great way, as you get inspiration when you're online, to prompt reverse engineer a specific image or images and have it write the prompt for you. And then you go in and customize that prompt for whatever it is that you want to do. Now, speaking of capturing things that I come across online, before I share the next tip for you, one tool that I use all the time in my workflows to capture the inspiration that I come across online or content that I want captured and summarized is Recall. Recall captures and summarizes anything that I watch, listen to, read, or open online, and it saves it in one AI-powered knowledge base. It instantly summarizes YouTube videos, PDFs, articles, podcasts, and more. I can also chat with all the content that I'm capturing inside of Recall as it saves it and organizes it in its own smart AI library. I don't have to lift a finger. It does it automatically for me. And a surprisingly cool feature has been the quiz feature. So when I'm on my phone and I have a few minutes to spare, I just run through my personalized learning schedule that I've created within Recall so that I can actually take in and learn from the content that I'm capturing. So if you want to check out Recall, I put a link in the description below. Use the promo code RECALLRICK and you'll get 25% off Recall. So for image tip number 3, we're going to use what we've learned so far, especially the memory feature of ChatGPT. And we're going to use the image model to create a logo. And I'm going to give it very minimal information, but I'm also going to ask it to leverage the memory that it has of me. So I'm going to type in, generate a minimalist owl logo in my hex colors. I'm going to click on create an image. And again, we're using the 4.0 model here, and let's see what it comes up with. All right. And here's my minimalist owl logo in my hex colors. This is very minimal. And I would say that it could be a little bit more colorful with my hex colors, but not too bad. So you can ask ChatGPT for any kind of file format that you want. So for example, if you want it as an SVG extension or a PNG file, you can just simply ask it for it and it will give you instructions on what to do with that file once it gives it to you. All right, for this next image tip with ChatGPT, you can use the image model to create a brand avatar. I'm sure you've seen these brand avatars going around online. Well, we're gonna create one right now. I've written a prompt to create a brand avatar in a specific style. So now all I wanna do is upload an image of me and it'll give me a brand avatar that I can use online, maybe in social media or what have you. All right, and let's see what it comes up with. All right, and here is the brand avatar that it came up with. It's pretty good, right? But just keep in mind that all the elements that are included in here, including the shirt. So like this is the image that I gave it. I can give it any additional instructions in the prompt to make any kind of changes that I want to create this brand avatar. But as you can see here, it did that in a matter of 90 seconds. Not too bad. All right, so for image trick number 5, now that you can create consistent branding in your images, let's talk about some advanced techniques for image generation with the 4O model. And the first thing we're gonna do is use the image model to add elements or an element to an existing picture or image. All right, so what I've done is I've just uploaded the exact same image that I used previously for the brand avatar. And I just said, edit this image such that the person is holding a coffee cup. So just to recap, this is the image that we are using, and we are hoping that it's going to add a coffee cup to my hands. All right, and the image is generating. The face looks a little wonky, but it's not too bad. I think it's done a good job in the rest. And there's the coffee cup. I mean, that is really cool, right? It looks really natural in how I'm holding the coffee cup, with a simple prompt, taking an image, edit this image so that the person is holding a coffee cup. And here it is. I would say the only thing that's a little bit questionable is the face on how it's done it, but it's not too bad if this is the original. So what I could do in this, and I'll talk more about this coming up also, is I could click on the image here and go to the little select tool, and I could select the face, and then I can describe what I want to change or replace or edit or update. I could highlight the coffee cup and I could say, make the coffee cup black or whatever it is. So there's a lot of different ways that you can edit the images in addition to just giving it simple prompts, which we'll do in the next one, because with the next advanced technique, it's what I like to call multi-perspective generation. So this is essentially like you're prompting for the same scene to be from different viewpoints. So I'm going to put in a prompt here for a castle and a dragon. And so I'm going to put this right in here. Actually, I'm going to start a new chat and just going to put that right in here. I'm going to click on image and we'll see what comes up with, because then we can use a little bit of iterative editing here, which we'll talk again more about here in a second, on getting different angles and multiple perspectives of this image. All right, and here's the image that it created. It's pretty good, right? Like, sun's really cool, detail's pretty cool, love the dragon there. Okay, so now let's ask the image model here to make a couple changes. So I'm gonna ask it to revise the image so that the castle is seen from above. All right, with that simple tweak, this is the image that we just got. So as you can see here, now we're looking down on the castle and the dragon rather than up at the castle and the dragon. Now, if you wanted to, you could put that multi-perspective generation request right within the prompt. So maybe you're getting back like 3 different images, the castle seen through a forest or from a moat of the castle, and then from above like we just did. So you can put that into your prompt and ChatGPT will give you that same image from different perspectives. For tip number 7, we're gonna use the 4O image model to transfer a style that we give ChatGPT to an image. So this is what I've written in this prompt here. Create a hand-drawn digital illustration of the attached image. I'm gonna use the exact same image of me before in a bold, minimal, energetic sketch style, like a high performance concept, blah, blah, blah. I've given it the hex code colors and let's see what it gives us. All right, and here's the output that it just gave me. I think it's actually really, really good, especially considering it really did a good job following the prompt. So hand-drawn digital illustration of the attached image, bold, minimal, energetic, et cetera, et cetera. I think it did a really good job with this. So this is a great use case for you for any kind of brand photos that you have in your business, for example, and you want to turn them into fun sketches like this. easy way to do it. Did it in about 90 seconds. All right, for tip number 8, this is all about image expansion or outpainting. So this is essentially where you take an existing image and you ask ChatGPT to expand the image in some way. So for example, expand the border into some scene that you want. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take the same image that I've been using here. So I'm gonna tell ChatGPT to expand the attached picture into a landscape view inside a coffee shop. So the goal here is to put me inside a coffee shop of the image that we've given it. All right, and here's the image that it just created. It's actually pretty good. It's a little, I think I have like demon eyes, but it's pretty good. Like I would totally work in a coffee shop like this. And a simple prompt, take an original image, expand the attached picture into a fill in the blank, whatever it is that you want to do, and ChatGPT takes care of it in like, again, 90 seconds. So that is image expansion or outpainting. Now, the next tip I want to talk to you about is editing your images. We talked a little bit about it already, but you do not have to start from scratch necessarily when you don't like an image. ChatGPT is really good now at taking your feedback and making edits to the image. This is what I like to call iterative chat loop editing. So you're basically continuously giving it feedback in a loop to get it to an image quality or something that you're really, really happy with. Basically, you're treating the image model as you're a live art director. So you could say something like, love it, raise the camera, punch up the teal. I could say with this image right here, for example, I could say add coffee to the bar back here, or add a barista behind the counter or something like that. I could fix the, I don't know if this is like an Italian spelling of cappuccino or not. I don't think it is, but I could definitely select it. I could tell ChatGPT to correct the spelling of cappuccino, for example. So you become the art director of your images, just simply giving feedback to ChatGPT on whatever it's kicking out to you. And you just repeat that process until you're really happy with the image. For this next tip, we're gonna continue to take everything we've learned so far in this video, and we're gonna create assets for our business in terms of advertising. So for example, you can use the image model to create ad creative. And I'm gonna show you a prompt here that very simple, where we're gonna create an Instagram ad creative. You could do this with Facebook ads or TikTok ads or LinkedIn ads, whatever kind of ads that you want to be running. But I'm just going to say, create an image for my Instagram ad creative in my branding. Again, so I'm using the memory feature of ChatGPT that aligns with the following ad copy. I'm purposely keeping it broad in the exact prompt because I want ChatGPT to really get its inspiration from the ad copy, rather than me telling it something, not giving it the ad copy. Then there's misalignment within the creative itself. So let's go ahead and see what this comes up with. All right, and here's the image that it just created. Not too bad. I would totally use this for an Instagram ad creative. And by the way, this is actually true if you want to check out Recall, which I talked about earlier in the video, and you want to get 25% off. Just use the code RECALLRICK. It's linked to in the description below. But pretty cool, right? All I did was a simple prompt. I included ad copy and I told it to create an image that complements the ad copy. Don't just replicate the ad copy in an image, but give me an interesting image that I can use as ad creative. And then I can create different variations of this if I want. And speaking of variations, this is the next tip. And the final tip that I want to share with you in this video, this is what I like to call multi-scene storytelling. And what I mean by multi-scene storytelling, ChatGPT, the 4.0 image model, is really good at creating visual narratives, obviously, if you prompt it correctly, showing like a specific transformation. So for example, in scene 1, you can say frustrated entrepreneur, scene 2, organizing with tools, or scene 3, then giving confident presentation. So it's almost showing the story arc. This, you could actually use this for an ad creative as well. And to do this, I'm gonna show you in the OpenAI playground. And the reason I wanna do this is because I'm gonna click on images, by the way. This is the playground, platform.openai.com. And I'm gonna come down here to the bottom. I'm gonna put in my prompt that I've written for this. And you'll notice here that it says 1x. Well, I can choose that and I can run the slider along to tell it how many images, how many variations of this image that I want it to create. This is great because I can't create more than one image at a time in the normal ChatGPT tool. But if I want to create different variations of it up to 10, I'd have to use or I can use the playground. You just simply click on images in the left-hand column here. I'm going to click on 3. I'm going to give it the prompt. And again, we're going to create our multi-scene story telling a visual narrative. All right, and here's the result. I think that took like 26 seconds to generate these images here. So you can click on expand and look at the image. Now it cut it off. I think I could have been, now I was pretty specific in the size, but 31280 by 1080 panels. Okay, I could probably be more specific in the sizing, but you can tell here of the storyboard that it's created for me here. And I can go back because I asked it for 3 different variations. So here's the next one. Here's the sad, organizing, and confident. So again, it's telling a visual story all based on the prompt here. And I can create, if I wanted to, I can create, again, up to 10 different variations of this. And I'll often come in here and use the playground to generate images because I can do this. Just a quick side note here on when you're in the playground, you can click on this little toy box, if you will, or I don't even know what that is, a toolbox maybe. And you can use all of these different sort of presets, logo, 3D city, birthday card. They have a whole bunch. And I think they've added to this actually in the past little while. But especially if you're creating like product designs or anything like that, I would be doing that over here in the playground. So because they give you some more tools. The other thing here is you can go in here if you're not setting in your prompt, which I still recommend that you do, is to go ahead and choose the sizing. I would probably click on landscape if I'm going to do this same prompt again. I would click on landscape. You can do quality and then click on advanced, and you can do the different output format, PNG, JPEG, WebP. Now, one final tip, what I would recommend that you do if you're going to be creating images on a regular basis, especially brand images for your business, I would use ChatGPT projects. And then you can just use the 4.0 model within the project. So you can come in here, give your project a name. So like maybe this is Instagram ad creative, and this is your Instagram ad project. So you have the prompt. You don't have to keep retyping it. It remembers all of your hex codes and brand colors, et cetera, et cetera. Just do it all within the same project. You can create different projects for all the different image projects that you're doing in your business. Now, a note of caution when you're generating images within ChatGPT 4.0, this doesn't absolve your need for creativity. Quite the contrary. A lot of people have talking about that was like, oh, I don't have to be creative or it's taking my creativity away. You still have to design the image and have taste to know what's good. And also give it feedback as to what you don't like or the types of things that you want to change, which is going to take a creative eye. Now, you don't have to hire a design team anymore to accomplish these things, right? But you can also use the type of work that you're doing, or that we talked about here today in the video. You can take out these now fleshed out ideas of a design that you're thinking about. And then if you do want to work with a design team, then give them the things that you're creating in ChatGPT. Now they have a stronger starting point. All right, I hope you got a ton out of this video here today. Again, if you're an online entrepreneur and you're really looking to leverage AI in your business so that you can scale your business, streamline it, and increase profitability in the process, I want to invite you to join us inside my AI Playbook community. I'll link to it in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.